the what's it called, when African Kingdoms is released, I'll be streaming nearly every day. That's my commitment here. Like I say, I'm pretty caught up with doing African Kingdom stuff right now, so I'm unable to really do a whole lot of streaming at the moment. So anyway, guys, game numero 2, and oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. We're back, Masters of Arena 3 with DutchClass and Kongen's Guard, or King's Street, I've been told in Danish. Over to the right side of the map, in the blue trunks, we have DutchClass himself. He's playing as the Goths, and he's currently trailing 0-1. And on the left side of the map, in the red, we have Kongen's Guard 42 playing as the Britons. Interesting civs here. Now, game number 2, the settings are hidden civs, and that is the case for every game. Every game is hidden civs. Aztecs are banned, which is good because Aztecs are a very popular arena choice, and it really fosters the idea of doing monks, which we're going to see a lot of in this tournament anyway. And each player vetoes 2 civilizations that the other person can't choose. So basically then you get a free pick from the remaining civs. So kind of lucky, I guess, for DutchClass here. Got himself the Goths versus the Brits. He's got himself the counter pick, you could argue. And hopefully DutchClass here feeling confident going into this game. Obviously, Goths, a great counter civilization to the Brits with their good old, trusty, and very, very strong Huskarls. So I can only hope that DutchClass manages to get at least one Huskarl out this game. It's worth pointing out as well, I was saying before about Kongen's Guard's games, that's 900 wins. And I think he has about 900 losses as well. So that's 1,800 games on that account. I know he has another account. He used to have like a boss account, which probably has even more games on it. I was just throwing that out there just to show you the contrast between DutchClass's 1 loss in total in history on Vubli versus Kongen's Guard's plethora of gaming history on this client and in this game. So anyway, what I can only hope here is DutchClass gets a castle and manages to get himself one of those Huskarls, and maybe just one. If I see one Huskarl, I'll be happy. DutchClass here actually not too bad. He very nearly lost that boar, but I mean that was a pretty pro Borleo right there. He brought it in, he dropped it under the TC, he casually, calmly, collectively gathered that sheep, and then he, as the boar wandered off, he shot it down, and it's landed under the TC. That was some good play by DutchClass. I'm actually pretty impressed with that, to be honest with you. On the other side of the map, look at that. Kongen's Guard, he calls himself an expert, but that sheep is rotting away. That sheep is losing food by the second. 0.4 food decay per second of game time, and that is wasteful. So Kongen's Guard here, clearly inferior ball luring, inferior economy management in the Dark Age, and DutchClass, go DutchClass, yeah! So one thing I want to point out is that his goal, sorry, that's not gold, that's stone. His stone is pretty far forwards right here, and that's a little worrying, because if Kongen's Guard plays aggressively, if he's fast to the castle age, like we have seen before in that last game, he was much faster to castle, then DutchClass might not have the opportunity to gather the stone, because, you know, he's going to want to get this stone. I'm concerned that British crossbows will have enough range to kill all the villagers on that stone and more, which is a little worrying, because he needs that in order to get the Huskarls, in order to counter the crossbows. So he better get a good castle time, and he better get that stone fast as he can. Interesting. So I don't know what DutchClass's rating is in on Vubli. On HD, apparently his rating is 1700, so take about 500 off of that, and you get about 1200 rating on Vubli, which means that Kongen's Guard is about 1000 rating points ahead. But DutchClass right here, you know, this is, in my opinion, a mistake, so to speak. He's milling the deer on the front, and he's already milled the berries, so it's a little wasteful. I was praising him on his sheep and his early game economy earlier on, but I'm a little concerned about this deer patch on the front. Now, it's not a problem here. He will get the deer safely, I imagine, unless Kongen's Guard decides to drush or do something crazy. But, you know, Kongen's Guard here, he is pushing those deer with his scout, and he's doing it from a long way away. He's getting it through that tiny gap in the wall. He's sending it into his base and landing it under that TC quite nicely. So he is obviously in this situation going to be saving quite a bit of wood. Now, I guess DutchClass maybe not confident in his ability to push those deer from such a long distance, but he's certainly confident in his ability to take stone, and that is what we are going to see right now. And I'm happy about that. Grabbing some stone on the front nice and early. He has got to get a good castle time still, though, and now moving villagers out to gold. 27 population, though. I'm wondering why he's going up on such a high population. He's going to be on 28 population by the time he clicks up to the feudal age here, which is quite high. Again, not seeding any farms, and I guess that's because he's only left 4 villagers on the wood right here. You can see in contrast, Kongen's Guard with 7 villagers on wood, 3 farms up, and still pushing those deer in. I guess, you know, I was saying before, you want to have your farms up nice and early. That is certainly the case. You see Kongen's Guard with those lower HP villagers on the farms. Now, if he hadn't grabbed the deer, he would want 6 farms right now. Since he's still got the deer coming in, he can still afford to. He can afford to take just 3, basically. Currently, barracks. I imagine we'll see an archery range and a blacksmith. That'll be his 2 feudal buildings. And he'll go into crossbow once he reaches the castle age. That is my prediction for him. Kongen's Guard clearly then looking pretty quick at this stage, and like I say, that worries me because DutchClass needs to be able to go and grab this stone safely. So yeah, DutchClass though has got himself a score lead. He's going to be feeling pretty happy with that, and he's throwing down those farms around the mill, and that I definitely don't agree with. I mean, this is not a good call from him to put the farms on the mill. I don't know why he's doing that, because the farms on the mill right here, they're going to be hit from behind a wall. So crossbows here, dead villagers here. Simple as that. Thank you very much, Retsis, for subscribing, man. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Wallow Warlords. Thank you for supporting the stream. It is much appreciated. And yeah, awesome stuff. But yeah, this is not very. It doesn't make much sense. I mean, he could just put it next to the TC, and the village would be much safer there. I guess not really thinking forwards about the Britain range here. He's also going to let Kongen's Guard in, and he doesn't have loom, so that's some dead villagers right there. Kongen's Guard. Oh wow! Oh wow! He literally just did loom. The timing on that, impeccable timing from DutchClass. I mean, clearly, look. Oh, and beautiful, blocking his opponent's scout into his base. DutchClass with the plays right now. That timing on the loom was something else. I mean, fantastic. Well read. The problem is his castle age timing is not good. He's throwing up his market now. That is a bad location because it's blocking the wood line, but okay. Market's coming up, but he's still 100 food out, and a dead villager under the TC. And obviously, because he's put his farms around the mill, there's no villagers at the TC to garrison inside and kill that scout cavalry. So Kongen's Guard here with a villager pick, and he's about to hit the castle age. DutchClass just clicking up right now, and it is safe to say that he is behind at this point. He also, well, I think, you know, he might have enough stone. He might just have enough stone. The archers are coming in from Kongen's Guard right now. They're going to have that that range, that bonus range, that +1 there, and I imagine, you know, Kongen's Guard will get himself fletching fairly soon. These villagers are in peril. DutchClass needs to get just 50 more stone, and he might be okay. If he could just get himself up to the castle age, you know, what I would recommend for DutchClass right now is screw the second TC. You don't need the second TC. What you need right here is a castle. You need a lot of food and a lot of gold, and you need a fuck ton of Huskarls. That's what you need right now. And it looks like he's gonna, you know, abandon that stone mine. Maybe. These archers actually not doing too much damage yet. Kongen's Guard, no upgrades. And instead we're seeing a monastery from him. So perhaps then, perhaps Kongen's Guard doing a little bit of a double bluff here. Perhaps he's not actually going to go for those crossbows at all. Perhaps he's going to go for some monks again, and he'll just convert any Huskarls that come towards him. So we'll see what happens. Carrick, this is not some 1200 player you're watching right here. This is a stream chat moderator and a Wallolo Warlord, supporter of this stream for about a year now, I believe he's been subscribed for. So we're casting this game to show thanks to DutchClass for being an awesome person and supporting this channel. So castle coming up for him, good job. And that scout, of course, will see all. He knows the castle's coming up, and this is where it gets a little predictable, I guess. Kongen's guard, he knows what's going to happen next. He knows that DutchClass is making a castle. He knows that he's going to make some Huskars. So what is going to happen next? Well, a few more monks, and suddenly Huskars, bye-bye. They're not going to be a problem at all. And that's what I foresee, anyway. Scale mail armor coming in for DutchClass, though. It looks like he's really committing to these Huskars here. He's got a lot of wood in the bank, and I think he needs more farms at this point. Obviously, he'll need to seed farms with these 3 berry collectors, but he does need to get himself more farms. I guess a second TC won't hurt too much when you've got that much wood in the bank. He could alternatively sell some wood, buy some food, whatever, but he has got a little bit too much wood right now at this point in time. DutchClass's Huskars coming out though, and this is where scouting information is really strong. This is where Kongen's guard can simply predict his enemy and take his sweet time about this. Interestingly enough though, he's not upgraded his crossbows, his archers. He's just making a 3rd monastery. Once again, he's got his 2nd TC up at the back. Of course, one of the benefits of being the Britons are those cheap TCs. So yeah, I love the fact that he's going for that. He's obviously not taking his opponent too lightly, booming up his eco in the back. And I wonder if he's going to still make archers anyway. I don't know. Maybe he's feeling that way. But Siege Workshop on the front, obviously, he's going to have to bust through these walls. He's going to have to take this castle down. DutchClass is not going to go down without a fight this time around. And DutchClass here, well, actually can afford to put down his 2nd TC. He's doing that on the right hand side now. Good call by him. And of course, again, Kongen's guard's scout will see all. In fact, he's going to block it, and DutchClass cannot build that TC because that scout is going to block the foundation. He can't take him down though, fighting him now. Kongen's guard going to keep him alive with just 3 HP, and once again blocking the TC. He'll finish him off, thankfully, and he'll start production or building of that town centre. His 3rd TC should probably come up right now, and he should probably stop taking stone at this point in time. He doesn't need the stone anymore. He does not need to worry about that. He's got plenty of stone now. He's got his castle, he's got his 2nd TC and his 3rd TC. Get those villas out to food, because that's what he's going to need next. If he's doing 3 TC production of villagers, he's going to need 18 farms. He's currently got 14. That's 4 villagers on stone. 4 villagers moved over to food would allow him to make 3 villagers at a time, non-stop around the clock. So I think DutchClass here needs to stop taking stone at this stage. Still, the Huskars are coming out though. He's preparing himself, but there is an army brewing outside of these walls, and this should be a really big red flag to DutchClass right now. He sees this, right? This is his line of sight. DutchClass can see the monastery, he sees the siege workshop, and he sees the archers. Now, if he looks at these archers, first of all, he can see they're not crossbows. Secondly, he can see they have really low upgrades. They have no defense. They only have fletching. And that should be a red flag. That should be, alright, my opponent is clearly not committing to making crossbows here. So I should probably consider whether making Huskars is the right decision, the right call right now. He can clearly see the monastery, so he knows his opponent has collected relics. He knows his opponent is going for monks. And if we lift that fog of war, we'll see that behind here there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 monks, 14 monks now. And DutchClass has a total of 10 Huskars. So if they all successfully convert, there'll be 4 monks left over. Worrying times ahead. Again, DutchClass probably should anticipate his opponent and make some scouts. That would be the way forwards here. Light cavalry would work wonders. They would be tremendous in this situation. They would clean up those archers. They'd probably take down the monks pretty successfully. Other than that, I guess mangonels would be good. Kongen's guard here, I imagine, brewing up some rams inside these not monasteries, inside these siege workshops. I anticipate we'll see a ram rush coming in, and he'll go for the castle. Now, DutchClass is just, happily booming, sitting behind these walls, booming up, taking his sweet time about this. Wheelbarrow coming in right now, a little late on 68 population. That should have been done a lot earlier on. And building a lot of farms, taking a lot of gold, making some Huskarls, but he ain't going nowhere. He is not going anywhere. Even Kongen's Guard Wheelbarrow is really late, but doesn't matter that much. The point is, DutchClass is not scouting, he's not leaving his base, and as a result, Kongen's Guard will be able to wall him into his walls, which is kind of ridiculous. Kongen's Guard here, DutchClass is not getting out of this one, and we even see a crossbow coming in for Kongen's Guard now. Not entirely sure why. Not entirely sure why. Starting yet another wall on this left side. I imagine he'll just wall it up to the right, to the north side of DutchClass's base. And, I guess this is what happens when you sit back and you don't leave your walls. You get comfortable. And your opponent can cause a lot of trouble in this situation. A lot of trouble. Kongen's Guard going to throw down these walls. And I think DutchClass here, well, if he doesn't scout this, when he does come to push out, he's going to have a pretty nasty surprise. If he doesn't get the nasty surprise, well, that's a shame, but I guess he'll see at the end of the game. Kongen's Guard, I don't know, he should be ready to push in any minute now. He's housed at 100 population, DutchClass at 81. So DutchClass actually has, a much bigger economy with 11 additional villagers, but he is 30 military population behind. His opponent has 41 military units, and DutchClass has just 11 right now. He's got a huge eco though, and he's going up to the Imperial Age. He's done the Imperial Age click, he's ready to go, and this could be the perfect time now for Kongen's Guard to make his move. If DutchClass takes a look at the scores, he should be able to see that, he is behind by 1,000 points, and since he's done nothing but boom, that should give him a pretty good indication that his opponent here is making military. Generally speaking, if your opponent's score is a lot higher than yours and you've not actually fought yet, they probably have a lot of military that you do not have. So DutchClass here with a 4th TC, interesting location. I've never seen anyone actually build a TC on the berries before, but that will be a very good farm town center when the berries are gone. Perfect position to just cram that full of farms. Sounds good to me. And DutchClass here with a ton of food and gold, but he needs to get a move on. He needs to make some more Huskarls because he's in a little bit of trouble as the ram rush from Kongen's Guard comes in. He's hitting on that gate, but the monks from behind. There's so many monks, and one conversion comes off immediately, a second one to follow, and Kongen's Guard here can just wipe the floor with DutchClass with this army. Next up will of course be the castle, but anarchy is coming in, and once anarchy is researched, DutchClass can make as many Huskarls as he likes without the use of a castle, and anarchy will complete before the castle goes down. So anarchy's done, and DutchClass now queuing up a whopping 15 Huskarls in one barracks, queuing them up now in the others as well. Sadly, he won't be able to reach the Imperial Age to do himself perfusion, but sadly, those Huskarls are getting converted the second they come out. Imperial Age for DutchClass right now. What's he got up his sleeve? Well, he's got no upgrades really here. He needs to start taking these monks down, but a nice little bit of micro from Kongen's Guard is basically going to render this army useless. DutchClass right now, population capped. He's throwing up some houses as his castle, of course, supporting 20 population goes down, and that's GG. That is GG. Sadly, Kongen's Guard there, too much momentum, too many monks, many monks, and a huge wall outside of DutchClass's base, causing DutchClass to not be able to escape even if he wanted to, I suppose. So there you have it, guys. Again, a fairly quick game. There was a lot of monks there from Kongen's Guard. I think actually he made a misclick in the end. A lot of these monks are 42%. Which means that they are all converted the same unit, which is not ideal, but still, DutchClass simply didn't have enough Huskarls to make that work. He didn't have enough upgrades either. He needed to get himself more than just +1 defense. And the sad thing about this game is that he actually had a lot of food and a lot of gold. He had 2,300 food, 1,200 gold in the bank, and that could have translated into a lot of Huskarls had he prepared for that earlier. And had he perhaps have gotten that second defense upgrade, which would have helped him a lot with the crossbows. But still, even if he had the defense upgrade, that wouldn't have been everything. He obviously had a bigger problem on his hands with the monks, but you know, like cavalry or something could have been good for that, and he should have known there were monks about since he saw that monastery much earlier on. Anywho, I think that's 2-0 to Kongen's Guard right now. Surprising score, to be honest with you guys. I am absolutely blown away here. Kongen's Guard putting on a fantastic performance. I am amazed that he has managed to absolutely dominate this so far. Hey there, DutchClass, popping into the chat between games.